What's good, folks? What's good? Oh, I'm gonna make one adjustment here. Forgot to bring my mic over here. How's everybody doing? That's better. What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. We are back in the off season. Don't know how to act all this time on our hands. Don't really know what to do. So, what do? You try to find other football to watch. As you see behind me, I'm rocking the XFL gear. Got their logos up there. I will be watching the game tonight at I believe it starts at 9:00. XFL's had a good start, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. Liking what they're doing. I like that they haven't changed the rules too much. Just a lot of extra point rules, kickoff rules. I think those are the kickoff is kind of different. You're not going to get no big big difference on the kickoff. It seems like everybody's getting the ball at the same spot, but I'm enjoying it. I'll be watching the game tonight. Me as a veteran of the World League, I'm always interested to see when other players get an opportunity to play. So it's all good. But what's up, my people? What's up, family? My grandson was number one out the limo. I'll call him out. Rocking the t-shirt. You like the gear? Holler at me. I know somebody. Sean Young, what's good, brother? A lot of stuff going on. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Facebook user, I have no idea who you are because I guess you got to give Facebook permission to use your name on another platform. So you have to give YouTube permission to use your name. So all it says to me is Facebook user, but I appreciate you showing up. Number 3 out the limo. Sarah, my granddaughter. Number 4 out the limo. John, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Number 5 out the limo. I appreciate y'all coming in, being on time, all that other good stuff. And as usual, my first 5 people that are out the limo are brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. FanUp.app. That's what I'm talking about. Number 1 out the limo. A lot of stuff still going on. We are still hot and heavy with this NFL news. It has not slowed down a lick. All of this kind of stuff. We got the combine coming up. The Eagles still haven't found an offense or a defensive coordinator. Vance Joseph decided to go to Denver. So that ruined a lot of people's hopes. I know a lot of people were looking for him, so we'll dive into that. Like I said, you got the combine coming up. XFL is playing tonight. You got all of this nonsense going on with Shady McCoy. Like, where did this come from? Well, I remember when he said some stuff last year. He's on that ESPN show now, so he's a legit media head now because he's on that show every day. And he came out earlier when he said the Dak his ass comment. He caught a little bit of heat from that, but he's trying to get into that zone where you either love him or you hate him. He's trying to get into that polarized place because when you polarize it like that, again, whether you love him or you hate him, you're going to tune in to see what he says next. So I'm assuming that's what he's going for. And, I know Acho on that show tries to play the voice of reason and logic. And it seems like Shady just be speedballing and coming up with all kind of stuff. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. And this comes back to, he said this, I want to say last year. Yeah, I guess it was last year because the same conversation was going on about Eric Bieniemy. So when Eric Bieniemy when they won the Super Bowl, and of course all of this stuff comes out, black coaches not getting hired, Eric Bieniemy should be on the top of the list, and he should have been. So the first thing people do is they start questioning, or is there something wrong? Did he not interview well? And all those kind of stuff. And it's weird that you really don't get a straight answer. Nobody was given a straight answer on what the situation was with Eric Bieniemy. And then Shady comes out and he blasted him. He's not that guy. Basically, he went on to say how, in the meetings and stuff like that, Andy Reid was doing most of the heavy lifting. Now, this is the stuff he said last year, and he kind of re-upped and doubled down on that comment. And he said some more stuff this year, and now you got people coming out kind of defending Bieniemy, and it's looking like, Bieniemy is like people are sticking up for him. So let me make the big one. There we go. So yeah, like people were sticking up for Eric Bieniemy. So I don't know. To me, it sounded a little personal. It definitely sounds personal. Maurice, we're gonna get to the whole Lovey thing in a minute. I'm just catching up with my comments right now. So hold on for a sec. Sean Killian, what's going on? Sean Kilrain. What's good, brother? But anyways, I don't know what the deal is with Shady and why it gets personal. Here's my thoughts on it. And I haven't talked to anybody. Jake, what up? My thoughts on it is, if y'all remember, is this my next slide? Shady, the first year they went to the Super Bowl, I want to say it was the year they lost. I can't remember, but I think it was the year they lost. Shady had a good year, but towards the back half of that year, he fumbled a lot. And he was putting the ball on the ground. And I think he had like 3 fumbles the last 4 or 5 games of the year. I could have my timing off a little bit, but I know he put the ball on the ground a few times. And I think one of those fumbles like really cost him. And if you remember, they made him inactive for the Super Bowl. Now, Shady was he wasn't in his prime, but Shady was still doing some things. He still had his speed. He was still a breakaway threat. So for them to sit him for the Super Bowl, I'm sure that there were probably some conversations had about that. Because you got to look at, everybody knows we love Shady here. He put his thing down when he was with the Eagles, but Shady was a game-breaking running back. But he's got the personality. He's got the personality like a wide receiver. He's got that diva personality. Wants to be the center and doing the dance and all of that kind of stuff. So I would imagine when they told him he was not going to be able to play in the Super Bowl, him and Bieniemy probably had a quite aggressive conversation. So I don't know. But now you got people, former players, coming out and defending Bieniemy. And here's the thing. Y'all know how it is. Negativity usually sells, right? Gossip and anything on the negative usually gets the highlights. So I thought it was interesting that, very similar to Kyler Murray's situation. When all that stuff came out about Kyler Murray, and then they changed the contract and didn't want him to play video games and all that kind of stuff, everybody started piling on. And everybody had something to say. And my thing was like, why y'all got something to say now? You had every opportunity to say that when you was playing with him and you saw him every day, and didn't nobody step to him? Didn't none of these veteran players or anything say something to him? I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but everybody started piling on, right? Same thing with Shady McCoy. If everybody didn't like Eric Bieniemy, I would expect the same results. I would expect somebody else to come out and kind of rip him, but nobody did, especially not this year. So, and I show this thing with Tyreek Hill because out of all the people that kind of have an axe to grind with Kansas City, it would be Tyreek Hill. Because his main thing when going to Miami, he wasn't being used enough in the offense. So that's either directed at Eric Bieniemy or Andy Reid. And you can't really say much to Andy. Andy, the head coach. So, but I put him on equal footing in this situation because you could have called him out. But the point is that Tyreek Hill, even in this tweet that you see, he defended Bieniemy. So it just sounds like a little sour grapes to me. And it does sound like it's personal. Because I will tell you from experience, I don't care how good of a player you are. If you put the ball on the ground too much, you will be catching splinters on the bench, period. That's the one thing they used to tell me in high school, in college, and in the pros. The fastest way to get out of here is put the ball on the ground. So that's where I think that comes from. Because there's a lot of people that spent a lot longer time with Bieniemy than McCoy did, and they ain't got nothing bad to say. So I think this is all coming from his one experience, and I wouldn't be surprised from the heat he's catching that, maybe he'll walk it back a little bit. I don't know. So we'll see. But I just thought it was funny how all of this stuff is coming up now. I just think Shady is trying to, a little bit of clickbait because everybody's talking about it. All the talk. I saw it on 2 shows. My boy Chris Broussard, he talked about it on his show. Mike Florio talked about it on his show. So it's getting, I think Max Kellerman was talking about it on his show. So people are talking about it. So I guess that's the point. You never know. But, and, the biggest order of business right now is we got to get this guy signed. Now, the whole situation, Vance Joseph went to Denver, and I'd be curious to see why he made that choice. Did he want the challenge? Did he, clearly the pieces we have on defense is a little bit better than what they got in Denver. So I'm very curious as to why he really made that choice. Because I know that somebody had in a comment where he said the Eagles and Denver were both, he was deciding on which one. So that sounds like he was weighing between the 2 options. So why did he choose Denver? Because the Eagles would have been a much better situation. At least it seems like that to me. Unless there's something that came out, something he didn't like. Maybe it was one of the coaches he didn't jive with. Maybe he didn't get along with Sirianni. Maybe he didn't like Howie. I don't know. But we still got, despite what we got to go through, we still got a damn good defense. So, we'll see what's going to happen. But the reason I'm saying that is because all of this stuff, the one leading domino that's going to start all of this stuff is Jalen Hurts. What type of he's going to get his money. No doubt. He has outplayed his rookie deal. He has outplayed any and all expectations. If you would have said in jest, and I'm talking specifically to people who were not Hurts fans in the beginning. If you were to say in jest, what would you have to do to become a Hurts fan? The overwhelming response would have been, if he can get us to the Super Bowl, then you keep him. But they're saying that like as a backhanded compliment because them thinking that it would never happen. Never. So when I say he has gone above and beyond all expectations, me as a Hurts fan, one of the things I said specifically, verbatim, I said, I don't need Jalen Hurts to be good. Or no, I said, I don't need Jalen Hurts to be great. I just need him to be good and consistent. And we should be able to make it to the playoffs. If he can get us to the playoffs, he will have earned the right to be the number one QB going into the next camp. Whoever they decided to bring in, Jalen Hurts is QB1. That was all determined by if he played well, if he took the Eagles to the playoffs. To say he played well is disrespectful. To say he went above and beyond all expectations is an understatement. All the stuff that all these other guys and all the other podcasts said, running quarterbacks can't do this. His style of play does not translate into a championship or a franchise player. All of that kind of stuff gets knocked out of the window. Kicked out of the window. Because he took you all the way. And when he got there, he balled out. We did not lose that game because of Jalen Hurts. And every game we've lost this year, not one of them was because of Jalen Hurts. Not one. We lost the Super Bowl because our defense didn't show up. We lost to the Saints because Gardner Minshew was not the answer. We lost to the Cowboys because Gardner Minshew was not the answer. We lost to Washington because Quez Watkins fumbled the ball. We gave the game up. Not one time have we lost the game because of Jalen Hurts. And that is a great position to be in. He has earned whatever contract they decide to give him. He's earned that. He's not going to play out his rookie contract. They'll franchise him or something like that. But here's the thing, and I've said this before, Jalen Hurts is trying to change the mold. He's trying to do it differently. You can already see it. He's trying to do things differently. The way he handles the press, the way he goes about his day-to-day, he is trying to set a new trend on how they perceive black quarterbacks in general, especially running quarterbacks or mobile quarterbacks, however you want to call it. Just the way he's just different. And he's trying to change that stereotype. He's not saying it. He's just going out there and doing it. So in part of that, watching Jalen Hurts long enough, you know how his personality is. He is not a money guy. He's not going to be a money grabber. So what I think is going to happen, they're trying to find a way in the middle, and he's going to get a good contract. How he's going to do his wizardry, and he's going to get paid, but he's not going to cash strap the Eagles. I think they end up getting this done before the end of the month because they want to get all of this stuff done before they go to the combine camp, because that's not something you want hanging over your head. At least they got to get the DC and the OC in place before they go to the combine, because that's not a good look for me, where you don't have an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, and the only people that are at the combine are the head coach and the GM and the owner. You want the OC and the DC so they can have their say what style of who they're looking for, what kind of athlete they're looking for, all of that kind of stuff. So we got to have that. So they got to put those pieces into place quickly. So I would imagine that they've been going through and looking at people. The defensive coordinator is the big one. I think our offense is going to be fine. Actually, I think the offense, they're going to hire that boy. I forget what his name is. They're going to hire the guy from within. I think the defensive coordinator is the one that everybody's looking at. And no, we're not going to hire Seth. That's been in the talk a lot. I don't think they got enough guts to hire Seth. And the one thing about Seth, man, I think Seth could be a good coach. But I think it would be a personality clash eventually with Sirianni and Seth. Because you got Seth going to say what he got to say, and Sirianni going to say what he got to say. And that would be a clash. So that would be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But I would say this, if Seth did get that opportunity, we would have to get a good, I don't know. We would have to get some good assistant coaches to roll with him. Because it's I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Because you look at all of the just like players. And I've said this a lot, especially, and we'll get into this a little bit more when you're dealing with XFL stuff, right? Minor league stuff. Or like when I played in the World League and I was over in Scotland. There are plenty of players that should be in the NFL, and there are plenty of players that are in the NFL that shouldn't be. Let me say it like that. There's a lot of favoritism. There's a lot of nepotism and a whole bunch of other isms in the NFL. And you got good guys, good players that just don't get the opportunity. And I'll continue to use this example. I know y'all don't like me talking about the Cowboys, but Kevontae Turpin. Kevontae Turpin came from the USFL and blew it up. Blew it up on special teams. Now, here's the question. How do you miss somebody like that? He's always been that fast. He's always been able to return punts and return kicks. He's always been that guy. How did they miss him? How did they miss him? How did we get Covey and somebody like that was available during camp or before camp? You want to, nothing against Covey, but clearly Turpin is better. And you see that at every position around the league. That's something that that's something that really, really interests me. What do people see? Or do they just get drunk off of he played in the SEC, he played for this school, or they just get caught up in the optics of it? What's up, Chuck? I see you, brother. So I'm curious as to what do they see, what are the optics of it? How do we always miss? How does somebody like Kevontae Turpin get passed on and he just has to be spectacular when he always had that talent, and we end up getting like Jalen Reagor? Explain that to me. What did we miss? How does a whole league miss on somebody like Brock Purdy? He could throw the ball in college. He had moves in college. He balled out in college. So how is it that everybody missed on that? And I agree with Stephen Smith when he said he's like, because you got a lot of scouts out there that don't want to put their name on a gamble. The weird thing is it's all a gamble. You look at all of the first round picks, the top picks, we have more busts than breakouts. And everybody always misses. What's up, sis? My twin is in the building. Well, Maurice, I don't disagree with you. I think he used to be like that. I think he got over that. I think the Jalen Reagor and the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside thing brought him into the fold. I think the production of Devontae Smith and the potential of Nakobe Dean, and I'm saying this right now, Nakobe Dean is going to be a beast for us next year. I don't think we're going to end up signing Kaiser White. I think they're going to let him go. He's going to get his money elsewhere. I think Nakobe Dean, the big question is what they're going to do with TJ Edwards, because I like TJ Edwards in the middle. TJ Edwards balled out. He balled out this year. I would love to see TJ and Nakobe Dean playing that defense with the two linebackers and that nickel. So we keep rolling with that 4-2 nickel, and I know they're going to try to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. I know they're going to try to we still got Avonte Maddox. We still got Slay. Bradbury's gone. Bradbury about to get paid. And again, he earned it. But Reed Blankenship is in the building. He's solid. And I think this is the guy. If he's sitting there at number 10, we got to get him. If he's there at number 10, we get him. So we've got, let me see where we at. I don't know if y'all can see that pretty good, but let me make my, there we go. Houston, Chicago, Denver, Arizona, Indianapolis. I got to go through some mock drafts because we're sitting at number 10 thanks to the Saints. And then we go back to 30. We got pick number 30. And then we don't pick again, I believe, until 67. So there we go. So I got to look at some of these mock drafts because Vance down in Arizona. Where is Houston? Okay, so Houston is not. Okay, Houston's number 1. Are they going to pick a quarterback? Yeah, they're probably going to pick a quarterback. Chicago, I don't know what's going on with Chicago because now they're talking about they might trade for that kid from Alabama and ship Justin Fields out somewhere. And I would hate to see that because that stuff like that is what Justin Fields is just in a bad situation. He didn't have any weapons. They traded the defense away. He was in a situation, the offensive line was Swiss cheese. He didn't have any help. So the boy was running for his life. And now you're going to trade him? And you're going to bring in another rookie, start him at square one, somebody that's not as big, not as tall, not as fast as Justin Fields. And the one thing people forget about Justin Fields, when Justin Fields was at Ohio State, he was not a running quarterback. He was slinging that ball all over the place. He didn't become a runner. You knew he could run, but he didn't become a running quarterback till he got to Chicago because he was running for his life. So I don't know what, and if Chicago gets rid of Justin Fields, I'm like, whatever. Y'all get what y'all get. Y'all get what y'all get. People do not understand how difficult it is for a rookie to come in and just succeed. And when you see stuff like that, that makes me at least appreciate the things that Howie has been doing because he finally gets it. Finally went out. You know what? I'm gonna get them boys from Alabama if they're available, and that's what he did. That's what he did. Devontae Smith is gonna have another great year. We got another. Our offense is still set. We got to plug in some pieces on our offensive line, but ultimately, we're in a good spot, man. We're in a really good spot. So I don't understand what Chicago's doing, but hey, that's y'all business. So, John, what are you talking about, dude? I wish. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know, Rex. I'd rather have Lovey than Rex. Rex seems like the kind of guy that would try to steal the show. You know what I'm saying? He's got that type of personality about him. Been on TV, was already a successful head coach and a successful defensive coordinator. I don't know. Yes, he knows the defense and stuff, but again, in this day and age, you got to look at how the personalities match together, man. So I would, if you're going to give me the choice of Lovie Smith or Rex Ryan, I would say go after Lovie Smith. So, but they're going to make a decision sooner or later. They still have, let me see. They was looking at this guy, Glenn Schumann. No coaching experience. He has served as Georgia's co-defensive coordinator since 2019. Over the last several years, he has worked closely with Eagles rookies Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, and Schumann oversaw a stout defensive group that helped produce back-to-back national championships. There's something to be said of having familiarity. However, I don't think that would have been better when they were rookies. Now, they got a year under their belt. They understand what is required. So, it's not as important. But if he's a good defensive mind, he's a good defensive mind. So, we'll see. You know, I think that's a long shot, but we'll see. Jim Leonard, he was the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Never coached. He did play in the league for a while. He did. He was wasn't he on? He did play with somebody. I thought I saw something. I thought it was in here, but I thought I read that he coached with a couple other assistant coaches. And I thought he was with Sirianni, but I might be thinking of somebody else. But he's on the list. Another long shot, in my opinion. This is the guy. Oh, this is the guy, Jesse Minter. Okay. Coach Michigan, top-ranked defense nationally, number 10. He's got NFL experience, spent 4 seasons on staff with the Ravens. He was an assistant in 27 through 19, and then he was a D-backs coach and defensive coordinator in college. So he left Baltimore to go to Michigan with Harbaugh. So at least he's got some experience at that high level. So he knows what it's about. So another young guy, we got this youth movement going to work. So Sean Desai, another young dude, 39 years old. Chicago Bears defensive coordinator until they broke everything up and sold all the parts to the car in Chicago. So he's got quality coaching experience. So I don't, this is one of those situations where you just want, Howie, do your due diligence, man. Do your homework. And I trust that he will do that because nobody in their mama thought that we were going to hire Nick Sirianni when they did. That came from way out of left field. So I trust him. This is Chris Shula. He's a legacy. Don Shula's grandson, I think. So he's got some coaching history in the league. And he's been around in his whole life with Shula being his in his family. Don Shula, and then what was his son's name? Chris's dad, I forget. But he was okay. Don Shula was the one, obviously, the perfect season. So, but I'm sure this kid's been around football all his life, so he could be a good one. Everybody's looking for the next D'Amico Ryans. So we'll see. We shall see. Let me go back to, and I wanted to go back to this real quick. This is a list of all of our free agents. It's a big list. Fletcher Cox, I think he's going to be gone. I think somebody's going to give him a little bit of money, and he might go. Robert Quinn is out of here. He did nothing. Brandon Graham's going to stay. I think he's going to get a hometown discount. He's going to stay so he can retire. Javon Hargrave is the number one target for free agents right now on the defense. So if we keep Hargrave, that's going to cost. Kelsey, he's not going anywhere. They will re-sign him. He's going to retire Eagle. So he would do a discount just so he could finish if he wants to. Bradbury's gone. He's earned his money. He's earned this paycheck, so he's going to take it. Sayamalu, he's going to be out of here. Just like Javon Hargrave, there is a big demand for Sayamalu. Because he could, he's a good offensive lineman. He played great this year. And again, he's earned his money, so he's going to get it. Would love to keep him. We just don't have enough. Andre Dillard, I would love to keep him because he's interchangeable. And I think he was underused this year. So I wouldn't mind seeing him stay. Kazir White is out of here. I think Nakobe Dean is going to be the man next year. TJ Edwards, he only made 2.2. His last contract, he's earned his money. I thought he should be Pro Bowl this year. And Dominican Sue is gone. Linval Joseph is gone. Boston Scott is he's another one. I think they want to keep him in Philly. I don't think it'll cost that much money. You got to bump him up a little bit. So I don't see him going anywhere. I think they'll keep him. Zach Pascal is out of here. Miles Sanders is I don't know. That's a weird one. I saw that tweet that he put out. He wants to stay, so maybe he'll give a hometown discount. But the thing with Miles Sanders is, man, it all comes down to how they use him. It all comes down to how they use him. Miles Sanders should have been top 3 in the league in rushing. Top 3 in the league in rushing. If we would have used him right, we didn't use him right. But that was more on Steichen. So, again, it comes back to who's going to be our offensive coordinator. We might get an OC in that says, you know what? He's not my style of running back. We need to go in different directions. Plus, we still got Boston Scott. We still got Kenny Gainwell. And we still got Trey Sermons in the mix. I want to see what Trey Sermons. He's a big body that could run the ball. What do we have? We got these young players, and I don't want to be in a situation like, damn, we should have played him last year. Because I truly believe that is how it's going to be with Nakobe Dean. I think Nakobe Dean is just going to go nuts next year. And we're going to be like, man, why do we have him on the bench behind Kazir White? And I'm a Kazir White fan. I was so happy when we signed him. But I think Nakobe Dean is just next level. But we got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We are going to spend the money on him. Ricky Lovato. I don't know about him. Tyree Jackson. I would love to keep him. I think we will be able to keep him, but that's another weapon at tight end that we could use. Gardner Minshew is gone. Marcus Epps. I want to keep Marcus Epps. He has definitely outplayed his contract. He deserves to get paid. How much he gets paid, I don't know. Where does he fit in the budget? I wish we could keep him. We should keep him. But how much he's going to get somewhere else? Because he had a good year this year. Oh, thank you, Sean. That was bothering me too. Dave Schuler. Dave Schuler. Appreciate that. But in any case, we got some decisions to make, man. Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Marcus Epps. Those are my 4 guys that we got to keep. Those are my 4 guys that we have to keep. But everything, that whole thing revolves around what they're going to do, how much they're going to pay Jalen. That's why I'm like, man, hurry up and get this done. And that will be the first big domino to fall. And then we can, then we can really see what we got and do some things. That's where we got to get to. Where we really understand what we have. It just, I don't know. It just opens up. Everything becomes clear once that deal is done. So we'll see. We'll see. But has anybody been watching the XFL? I'm enjoying it. I love seeing these guys get their shots. And the one thing, it's funny because the star of the XFL right now, as weird as this sounds, is Dean Blandino. What did you say, Maurice? The Eagles deal with contractual factors. If Dean plays, then someone has to go. Edwards or White. I would keep TJ Edwards if you ask him between those two. Kaiser White, because I would rather have – I want to keep TJ Edwards in the middle and let Dean roam around a little bit, because the few plays I've seen of Dean this year, he was quicker than advertised. He got to the ball very quickly, surprisingly quickly. Slade's not going nowhere. Maddox, they're still under contract, so we got them till next year. So we'll deal with that when it comes. I think if you can keep Maddox, you be good. Kavonte Wallace, you definitely gonna keep. Well, Slade's gonna play out his contract, and then he's gonna be out. He's gonna be out of here. He'll go somewhere else. Somebody give him a veteran contract. I mean, like, people don't realize Slade's been in the league. This was his 11th year, his 10th year, 11th year. He's been in the league for a minute. So he had a good year in the beginning. Towards the end of the year, he was struggling a little bit. But I don't know if that was because of Gannon or he was just getting caught up, because it didn't look good. But Avonte Maddox, he was balling when he caught that toe injury. That hurt. That really hurt. CJ Gardner-Johnson, you just didn't expect that from him. At least I didn't. How you gonna miss 5 games and still be tied for the lead in interceptions? And you missed 5 games. Just imagine where we would be if he stayed healthy. Yo, Sean, I got to disagree with you on that, bro. I love it. I love it. That means everybody got to go for it. Stop kicking it. I don't mind that at all. Something different. You still got the points. And it just makes it a little bit more interesting. So if somebody's going to have an opportunity to win the game, you got an opportunity to win. But you got to score you got one play to score from the 10. So, and also, like their rules. So you got the extra point rules. You got the 1, 5, and 10-yard lines, right? 2 points, 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. 2-yard line, 5-yard line, and 10-yard line. Yes, right? Then you got instead of an onside kick, you have the option to do an onside kick or the a 4th and 15 from your own 25. Oh, my bad, Sean. I thought you said you didn't like it. I read that wrong. I'm sorry. But yo, that the onside, you can onside kick, or from your own 25, you go 4th and 15. And if you make it, you keep the ball. And that's what happened to one of them games. They were losing like 15-3. It was less than 2 minutes left, and they came back and won the game in a minute 25 because of those new rules. And I thought it was awesome. And one of the things that before I got sidetracked, Dean Blandino, that's what I was talking about. Dean Blandino. If you watch the game tonight, Dean Blandino is the head of the officials. So whenever there is a play that needs to be reviewed or you need a booth decision, somebody throws a flag, whatever, they go live into the booth. So you see Dean Blandino with all of the screens, and he's got the editing system. And he's got one of those things we call the scrubber. So when you edit video, it's just like a little dial. You could turn it, and it moves the video slow, and then you can go the other way, and you can back it up. So you can scrub when you get to that point of the video where you need to keep seeing it. And you see him, he's got about 4 or 5 things going on. He's got a couple other people up there helping him, and they're all looking for different angles to get the best view of whatever play they're looking at. And the one thing I thought was interesting is it is cool to hear his thought process and hear him work it out on whether something should or shouldn't be upheld or something like that. Because the game last week, the guy threw an interception. It looked like an interception to me. And they caught it on the 1-yard line, fell in the end zone. The ref called it a touchdown. But to me, it was clearly an interception. So he goes back and looks at it, and he says the play has to stand. And I'm like, there's no way that play stands. That is not a touchdown. That's an interception. But he made clear he was reviewing the call that the referee on the field gave. The referee on the field called it a touchdown. He didn't have any evidence based on video to dispute that. So the call had to stand. Then what he ended up saying after that was, if the ref had called it an interception, he would have upheld the call again. He would let the interception stand because, again, he didn't have enough evidence to overturn the call either way. So the call on the field has to stand. It's not whether he thinks it's a catch or not. So I thought it was interesting hearing that thought process work itself out. And I think the NFL is going to cherry pick different rules and different, I'm joking, but the XFL stands for the Experimental Football League, because best believe the NFL is behind this. They got a little backing into it, and they're going to cherry pick the things that work. Instant replay stuff that they don't want to do in the game yet, but they're watching just to see what'll work and what won't. They definitely got a good thing going. They're paying these guys good money. You got the TV revenue. That's the one thing we didn't have in the World League. We did not have that TV revenue. They showed the games if you had Sky TV or it was on Fox, and a lot of times in the States, they didn't show the whole game. They would just show highlights or just show what Sky TV had going on. I don't think we were covered until we played the World Bowl. The World Bowl, they played the whole game. So, but when you got The Rock involved, you got a lot more opportunity for TV sponsorship and, things of that nature. So the money is going to be bigger. These guys are making $60,000 for 10 weeks of work. That's a good deal. And make more if they win the championship. So they got a good thing going. And unlike what they did with Vince McMahon, they're just playing football. Vince McMahon had the, going the cameras in the cheerleaders' locker room. Then they had that crazy thing where they would race to get to the ball and recover the fumble. And then they had the he hate me's and the stuff on the back. And it's like, dude, just play football. Don't worry about all of that other stuff. He tried to put too much WWE into it. And when you say WWE, ain't nobody betting on that stuff. So Vegas wasn't backing it. So The Rock, he was smart. Whole season will be done before the USFL starts. He's got NFL watching and backing it. He's got the television deals. You don't have to travel a lot. The only thing they got to do now is just build up the attendance at the games. That'll come. You'll get a couple days it's warm. Obviously, the San Antonio team is the best team because they had the best attendance. And that's how. And just like us, we were in the World League. If they televised the game, it was Germany. Because Germany was popping. Germany, they love American culture, big military presence over there. So they were kind of used to it. So Germany was just the place to be. That's where the World Bowl was headed. That first year, that was just the place to be. San Antonio, their game was packed. Fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to the night. I'm looking forward to this week. We got to get this done with these coordinators, man. I think they're going to hire from within, getting that one guy. What's the assistant's name that they're looking at moving up for offense? I'm bad with names, dude. Because it looks like he's going to get the nod as offensive coordinator, which would be good because he knows the offense. He's not going to change much. Hopefully he'll run the ball a little bit more and not run with Jalen. And maybe he'll even put the running back behind the center. Who knows? Maybe we won't get so damn drunk with passing. But we'll see. We shall see. It'll be fun. And real quick before I forget, shameless plug, because I told him I would do this on Twitter. Check out Next Level Chef with Mark McMillan. One of the guys I played with the Eagles when I was a rook. He was one of the little mini Mac, we used to call him, cornerback from Alabama. And you stepped on the field, you look at him and like, dude, how's this guy playing in the league? But he balled out. I think he had an 8 or 9 year career in the league. Was with the Eagles, was with Arizona, and I believe he's with Kansas City as well. So, but he is on Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. So it was fun to see him and see somebody. I'm trying to see if I can swing him to get on the show one time and talk about it. But when you get pub like that, you automatically big time. So, but I will keep efforting. He's a good dude, and I would love to have him on the show. So, if you have his Twitter, hit him up and say, "Yo, you should go on Marcus's show, Pro Fan Talk." Do that. So, but it's all good. We about 55 minutes, so pretty good show tonight. Got some new things coming up. As usual, I'm about to get up out of here, but if you go to my YouTube channel, Pro Fan Talk, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow, and I would appreciate it. Mighty Mouse. You already know, dude. Funny story. Mark was super quick for somebody his size. And one day in camp, him and Herschel Walker got to going back and forth. So After practice, we lined up and we basically had defense on one side, offense on the other, and they were going to run a 40-yard dash. And we lined up about 15 yards apart, and them two got in the middle, and they raced, and Herschel Walker blew his doors off. And Mark was fast, but Herschel was next level fast. So, Brian Johnson, thank you, man. Good grief, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Ben, I remember Ben. Maurice, Ben was we used to always laugh because Ben used to always walk in the locker room singing. Like, dude, like, did you get a record deal yet? He was always singing. But I remember Ben because when we got our Super Bowl tickets, Ben was the first one to step up like, yo, Rook, let me buy them tickets off of you. You're not going to the game. I'll buy them off you for $1,000. Now, back then, the face value of the tickets was like, I don't know, $250 or something like that. So they were going above and beyond. It just so happened that I was going to the game. I didn't end up going to the game, but it was in Atlanta. My twin sister lived in Atlanta, so I was going to use it as a trip to go down there, visit my sis and all that stuff. And I ended up selling my tickets for about, I think almost $6,000, $5,500, I think it was. And of course, back then there wasn't no internet, and you couldn't post that stuff on social media. So you had to open the paper, you had to open the newspaper, and it had to be like 10 pages of nothing but we'll buy Super Bowl tickets, we'll buy tickets. So I called a number and met a guy at one of the big hotels downtown. And we met in the lobby. We talked for about 5 minutes. He gave me an envelope full of money. And I never felt that nervous in my whole life. Because it feels weird when you handing somebody an envelope and he's handing you an envelope full of money. It felt like something from a CSI or something like that. I'm thinking like one of the Law and Order, one of them shows. It's like it's just a weird feeling. Even though we were in a public place, because I wanted to, he was very like, yo, meet you here, met me outside the bar, and we, shook hands and talked a bit, and I was out. But that was the weirdest feeling in the world. But we did it. Atlanta, who's playing? That was the Super Bowl where the girl left eye, was it left eye? Burnt Andre Rison's house down. That was that year. He just said that, Mark. Mark just said that, Sean. Let's do it. I'm gonna get him on the show. I'm gonna reach out to him. Because we've been going back and forth on Twitter. I told him I would say something, so I'll mention this. So Mark McMillan, get them plates on the lift on time, brother, so we can keep you going to the next round. But listen, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna check out these games, and I'm gonna check out Next Level Chef. And I will see you guys next week. Please check me out on my YouTube channel. And I'm trying to get some new stuff together for next year. If you guys got any ideas, hit me up. I will listen. All right, but I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. A2D Radio, baby. Y'all have a good week, and I will catch you next time. Peace.